Okay, so welcome to another session of UI Teardowns Live. So today we're joined with a few founders who are going to share with us the landing pages and products, and we're going to jump in and have a look at these pages, products, and see what we can recommend as suggestions for improvements and a general review. So just to introduce myself and UserActive, we are a product design agency. So we partner with SaaS companies and we become a product design partner. We regularly supply designs in Figma, and we basically run 2-week design sprints. On an ongoing cycle, we manage product backlogs, design tasks, and we also consult during that process. So that's a little bit about what we do. We also manage the SaaS Founders Facebook group, which has around 11,500 founders there in the group. And so this is a really great place for community. So we regularly stream live and interview founders live in the group there. And that's where we basically connect with our network. So about today's session, we're going to be speaking with Teylan, co-founder of Ueni, a landing page website builder. And then Caleb Page, we'll see if Caleb joins us, but he manages PropertyScout.io, which is basically a property real estate portal for searching and gathering information on properties. And we're also going to be looking at inFeedo. So first of all, I'd like to introduce Christine. And Christine, we're going to be taking a look at one of your landing pages, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about this landing page? It looks like you're doing an offer. So first of all, just before we run a teardown on this landing page, sure, why don't you share us a little bit about your product, what it does, who it's for, and a little bit of background about this particular offer, and then we'll jump into reviewing the page.
Yep. So we're a business that helps small businesses, really micro businesses, to get online. And basically we build them a website, Google profile, some other things, just like an agency, but a lot cheaper. And what we have here is something that we've been promoting for a few months now, which is what we call our lifetime deal. So the business owner can get online with the website, which is e-commerce ready, accepts bookings, all that, for a one-time fee of $149. So this is what we're promoting on this landing page.
Great. And where are you promoting this offer? Is it anywhere like AppSumo, places like this?
It's a mix of places. We use social media, paid social, Google, affiliates as well. So it's a broad audience. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's take a quick look at this page. First of all, it's quite attention grabbing, nice bright colors. I think the headline is pretty good. Get a website built for you that generates bookings, leads, sales. So I think that's really clear immediately what Ueni does. Definitely like these bullet points, these green bullet points, they stand out. Professional websites or online store, built in a week, comma, by us. I felt that little comma with by us at the end seems a little strange for a very short sentence. Maybe I would say done for you in a week or something like that. Done for you is quite a widely used term in these kind of service industries. Mm-hmm. Free hosting for life. That sounds pretty exceptional. Launch and training call. I like the way you have tooltips here to just explain and elaborate. It gives you a bit more space to explain. Launch and training call. So with a launch and training call, you say here that you hop on a call with you right after your website is ready to show you how it works and how you can edit it yourself in the future. Yeah, I think this simple launch and training call. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'll maybe work on that wording, making it a little bit more punchy. Maintenance is how we refer to this, isn't it? Can edit or maintain your website in the future. Connect a domain you already own. Rank high on searches with a verified Google profile. edit any section of your website once it's live with easy to use editor. Yeah, this is really nice. I love the fact that there's a demo. I noticed this button isn't completely clickable. It's just this text area. I mean, the play area is not really clickable. So definitely look at making that whole area clickable. And the buy now is very clear. The discount is really highlighted. It's a big discount, 75% off. And soon. The arrow is a little strange. The arrow here going to spring sale and soon. I'd probably have the spring sale being the first thing to show up, and then end soon over to the right or below that. But generally, I think this is a really strong landing page. What we often do on landing pages like this is remove the main navigation, because it's easy for your visitors to bounce from this page. And if they were to bounce, say they've landed here via an ad or a link, if they were to go and look at your home page or one of your other pages, they would lose the link to get back to the offer page. So they might find it hard. Oh, well, we put the sticky bar there for this reason, so that we don't have the sticky bar.
And there's a get started there, persistent. But
yeah, I see. Okay. Yeah, I would be tempted if I was running ads to try just getting rid of the menu. Where does
the menu here? It creates kind of a they're not all on one page, right? These are kind of multiple pages. So that's why we did it, to provide more content, but not create a never-ending single page scrollable.
Yeah. I think it's fine. So you've got. You have really good, I've noticed on this page, you have really good social proof. You have comparisons. So DIY, Wix, Squarespace, GoDaddy. I think people will be looking at those. They look so small here. I might make those easier to see, because I think people looking for this kind of service will be familiar with those. So it's probably, I would almost consider just doing a comparison against each one of them. Rather than grouping them all together, because I'm sure they have maybe more differentiation points that you might be able to contrast against each one of these. And then an agency. Yeah, I don't know. With an agency, I'm not sure if. I'm sure you can get an easy to use website editor with an agency too, but I'm not sure that these people would be looking for an agency. Usually they're not. I would expect that your biggest competitors rather than an agency are already Wix, Squarespace, GoDaddy, Webflow, rather than the agencies. But also, I think other things here, get a website like these in a week. We serve 800 business categories. I think this is a really good landing page. The previews are great. You actually get to see the website and navigate and what it looks like. So I think that's really strong. You're showing the different categories. So fashion, professional services, restaurants. That's a really good variety there. Highlight what you do. Much more. Okay, there's additional benefits, guarantee, your 4-step process. Maybe I'll just highlight each of these as 1, 2, 3, and 4, but I mean, it's pretty clear. As you need the right fit for your business. Yep. It's validating the types of businesses. I think you validated the sectors as well in your templates. And then you've got lots of social proof, lots of nice videos. Yeah, really good videos. You've got reviews from Trustpilot. You've got more reviews from other places, and you've highlighted them larger, and you've got frequently asked questions. I think this is a really strong landing page. It looks really good to me. The sticky bar at the bottom, I maybe just make a really strong call to action at the bottom of this page again. I'd probably highlight the offer and make it a bit like you have the hero at the top of the page, maybe a smaller hero on this page. let me see if you have any CTAs throughout the page. Yeah, you have get started. If what else is included, where does that go? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I'd do that. I think I'd get rid of, I think all of these buttons on your landing page, I just make them all the buy now rather than link off to other places, because they're getting, I think they should be getting all the information they need right here. So rather than linking off to other pages, I'd have the CTA, halfway or each third down the website, down this page, and then a big footer with the offer again, rather than this little banner at the bottom. But Christine, I think this page is really strong. Is there are there any particular issues or concerns you have with it? And I wonder how it's been performing for you.
Right. I mean, I think it has been performing the best among our landing pages so far. This is a pretty newcomer, and it's built on a lot of different insights. Colleagues that are on the line here are responsible for it, so it's their good work. But I guess here one question is, it's a multi-page site. On mobile, I have my own kind of questions around how that can perform. So I don't know if you have any guidance about how do you deal with like the navigation when it's under a hamburger menu, that kind of thing. Maybe changing some of the CTAs as you suggested just to be buy now would reduce some of the friction that's inherent on mobile. I don't know, but that's just one question I have.
Yeah. Is this responsive? So will I see the mobile if I shrink this my browser down? Will I see a mobile version of this?
Yeah, you should do. Yeah.
Right, it does. So what I notice is this page doesn't respond very well until it gets to mobile. So if this was a little more responsive, maybe we'd see media queries happening before that, with breakpoints that maybe this menu drops down in size for other devices, tablet width or narrow browsers, which it doesn't quite happen here, but it just waits until you get to a mobile layout.
Because that's where most of our traffic is, to be honest. Having looked at that, it is really kind of the mobile that dominates, and then desktop.
Okay.
And it is a constraint that we have on Bounce. They don't have tablet responsiveness. They only have like mobile and desktop. That's why we're gonna test landing pages on Webflow as well, because it's a constraint of the builder. Just a little kind of background on why we built this landing page, Peter. So we had this one other page that was our winner for like 5 months or 6 months since we launched this offer. And it was a one page, very long. And we did a little bit of research, right, with the users. And they were like, well, I'm missing some navigation here. I'm missing a menu here that I can go straight to the parts that I want to read about. So we're like, okay. And then our website wasn't about this offer, right? So we couldn't just take them to the homepage where they could see about us. And they were like, well, who is UNI? Where are you from? What are you about? So they wanted more information about the company. They wanted more information about the product. They wanted to navigate a little bit. So they were basically asking for a website, right? Instead of a landing page. So we tried, okay, let's do a website that is only about the lifetime deal. Like if UNI was only selling the lifetime deal, which is focused only on this offer. So that's what it's about. That's why we have like buttons on the homepage that take to other places other than get started, because people wanted to have this more navigation. So like what's included, for example, which is the button that we have, that is, I think it's the only button that is not very prone to like sales, like buy. It's one button that we get a lot of clicks. The see more is also one button that we get a lot of clicks because people want more information. So that is just, just for you to have a little bit of background why this landing page looks like actually a website. It doesn't look like a landing page. When you click to on all of these buttons, they're all in the same offer. They don't lose track of the offer because it's all about this offer. When they go to the get started, they still see the lifetime deal offer because it's like a website, but just for this.
Yeah. So you basically made the offer on the entire website this lifetime deal.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Because of this feedback. And what I guess like, yes, it is a good page in our opinion, because we based on a lot of feedback, but we were hoping also for it to perform way better than, you know, our single page has performed so far. And yes, it's a winner, but it's just by a tiny bit. And
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would expect, just because these buttons are popular, it doesn't mean they're the people that are going to buy this deal, right? Just if they click on there's enough information on here to be interested to try the product. If they're looking for what else is included, it seems like it's disrupting the flow that you want them to take on this landing page. You want them to learn about the product and then buy it. I also think that it's very common for this type of product to have a builder where you just get started and then you start building something. So is there a way they can interact more with the templates or the website builder to get them started, almost like a freemium thing before they pay?
It's something we've definitely done in the past. We were a freemium model at one point. The thing is this: our product is a done for you. So them playing with a builder as such is actually just not our product, and kind of misrepresents our product a bit.
Yeah, I see.
But we're always trying to make it more tangible, whether it's through the examples, whether it's through videos. We have the demo here. We have other video assets that makes it clear what it is that's behind the curtain, basically.
Yeah, yeah. One question I have is, how can you do all of this done for you within this price point? I know this is just a lifetime deal, but I was curious about in the longer term, what would you?
There are two pieces to this. One is that we've been doing this for 7 years, and combining tech and operations is really kind of where we have competence, and that's
great.
That's so we can maintain a strong margin, but still offer really great value. That's one thing. But the other thing is that we also have a subscription that's also on the back of this. So between 30 and 40% of our customers upgrade to the subscription so that we can deliver more service to them, whether that's, you know, professional domain and branding and things like that, or it's editing service, having us help them with marketing, what have you. So a lot of customers do progress to that, and that's where a lot of value is as well. So this is kind of a setup fee, which gets them launched, but then we work with them to build on that. As Jessica said, the lifetime deal is one aspect of our business, but it isn't the only one. But this site is really focused on that initial setup.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, I think this is a great page. I think the what we do for you, this section is really strong because this is what makes you stand out. This is the differentiator between the competitors that offer something similar, but they don't actually have this hands-on done for you. So these are the things that I would say are a real value add. We will write the content, upload images, products and services, and set everything up so you don't have to. If that can stand out a little more, that it's really personalized and that there's that done for you service, I think that's a really strong USP here for the price point. I mean, this is an incredible deal. That's how it strikes me. So I'm not sure there's much more I would suggest to improve this. I would just take out some of the links that link elsewhere. And I know you're trying to make this a website, but I mean, you have a home page on here, and then is there a home page and then a lifetime deal page, or is the home page the lifetime deal page?
No, if you go to ueni.com, that is our home page, but this landing page kind of is focused on the lifetime deal.
The lifetime deal. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really strong. I think it's really good.
That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments on, I guess, just coming back to the mobile thing, on that kind of best practices there? and anything you'd advise.
So I'm looking at this on, obviously I'm looking at this on a desktop, right? But this menu strikes me as quite small for a mobile drop-down menu, right? These links will be very small if I was looking at this on my phone. So quite often we might make this a full screen menu that takes over the full screen of the mobile once they click on the hamburger icon. And that will just give you a bit more space to make this button more prominent. Maybe you can also highlight the discount above the button and then make these links say full rows. So that will just give you a nicer space to work with for a mobile menu. Because I think if I were to use this on a phone with my thumb, I think what we do here, how it works, these will be quite small links. And yeah, and it would give you more space to make a more prominent visual for the offer and the buy now.
Thanks, that's helpful.
Okay. Hey, well, thank you, Christine. It's been great to see what you're doing. I think this is an amazing offer. I wish you all the best with it.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate the feedback. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, great. We'll move on to the next one. Yeah, and feel free. I know you have to jump off, so don't feel like you have to stay on the call. Okay, that was UNI with Christine Teylan. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so let me just see if Caleb's with us. Caleb from Property Scout. So we're going to be taking a look at Property Scout. Hi, Caleb, how are you?
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us. We're looking forward to taking a look at your platform.
Yeah, we've been following your emails for years, so it's great to connect. So this is good.
Awesome. Hey, really glad to hear that. Yeah, and great to meet in that case. So one thing you've provided us with is a login to Property Scout. Now, while I'm just going to jump in and log into this account so that we can take a look, would you be able to give us a little bit of background about the product, who it's for, and the key value?
Of course, yeah, that helps for anyone. The product we serve U.S. property records. So basically that'll be who owns a home. It'll be images of the deed or mortgage, the legal documents, maybe some liens check, like what kind of debt there is on property. And who it's for, we bought this business about 3 years ago, Peter. And we started just surveying everybody. And we got about 4 emerging segments, or 4 segments that we've detected. 5 actually. The 5th one is the worst one. It's our one and dones that they churn quite high. They come in, they get what they need, and they leave. The other 4 are pretty good. We have some in the insurance segment, could be front end production like insurance agencies, or back end in the claims area where they're doing some research prior to settling claims. Second area is our lending service providers, where they are trying to support bank loan applications for SBA loans specifically. The third area are lawyers, generally doing some kind of work around either estate planning, family law, landlord, tenant law. And then the last one are private investigators. We see quite a few investigators. But one of our challenges is, as you hear me say that, we're choosing a smorgasbord here rather than focusing on one. I've yet to hear a strong signal from any one segment. As a result, I believe that we don't really have strong language that's targeted towards one specific use case, and we're experiencing churn because of that.
I see. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how you have these different kind of ideal profiles. Have you had a sense of which one's the strongest fit, or who's most successful with the platform? Who utilizes it most?
No, and it's funny, the only way, when we first bought the business, we go out and survey. So we'd survey customers about 100 at a time. We'd get a 2% response rate and an 8% quit rate. It was just awful. We just got crushed. So then we turned around, we just started saying, what signals can we catch? So we pull usage reports every month to see who uses our app more than others. And we see the same players. So we reach out to them, and some of them talk to us, some of them don't. The ones that talk to us, we do the changes they'd like to see. The ones that don't, we keep trying to mess with things to see if we get them to do something, anything. And sometimes we get a complaint from a longtime user. It's great because we're like, okay, finally we're talking. What do you need? But no, we haven't seen a signal emerge. We do a lot of LinkedIn outreach in those different segments to test to see if there's any, just customer discovery calls to see if there's any interest, anything resonates. And we're still, that's ongoing in our world.
I see.
What you look at here, by the way, is the homepage. All our
Yes.
ads point to landing pages. So we have 6 landing pages that are keyword targeted. So that's why I don't get into the landing page teardown with you. As a UI UX person, I'm pretty interested in the in-app experience and some of those things, customer value journey. But if you want, I can point you to a landing page if you want to see the journey.
Well, let's do that briefly. And then I'm also interested in whether you have revenue, kind of where that is and how the pricing works. So if you want to share, first of all, a landing page, we'll just have a quick look to give us some context.
Yeah, it's title search-2.
Search.
No, title dash search -2.
Title.
Yeah, dash
search.
Yeah, just hit that. You should be good. Oh, okay. Let me go find it. I'll just pass it to you. Don't you hate it when you try and do that?
Yeah. Of course, it always happens just when you are.
Yeah, that's not working there.
Okay, I'm gonna just.
Okay, I got another one for you here. We'll give you a different. Our second most popular.
Oh, Caleb, could it be because I'm logged in? It could be because I'm logged in to the.
It could be. It could be. I just put a link to it. Yeah, that's.
I think it's because I'm logged in. Okay, so never mind. We're going to jump straight into the product. In that case.
Okay, if you wanted the pricing wasn't allowing you either because you're logged in, right?
Exactly. It was just taking me to the dashboard. So, okay. Well, we focus predominantly on SaaS. So I'm going to review this like it's a SaaS platform. And I think that's your model. I think that's your revenue model, right? Subscription.
It is. We've got about 500 subscribers.
Okay. Are they on a free or premium plan?
No, I should really show you the plan pricing. So can I share my screen?
Let me just see. Yeah, I think, you can share. Should let you take over.
Okay. Oh, right. Oh, you got yeah, there we go. There. And okay, so let me reduce the zoom. So this is what we have our pricing page. So typically the activity is we go from a Google ad, which is our only source really of leads. They come to a landing page, which has a search widget for a call to action that will have an address. That address would carry through and replace that 123 Main Street. And then you can see the price. We have a sample report here to check out. That's clickable, it's interactive. We've actually tested this, Peter. If we have the sample report, if we don't have the sample report, we have exactly the same conversion rate. So it's been interesting to note that. And then our packages. We have 3 packages here. We have a 3-day pass, which is really our entry point offer, 100 searches for $10, 3 days. The second one is, and this has limited functionality, as you can see. You can get in and do some things, but you're going to hit a paywall fairly soon in the app. And once you get into the app, you'll when you want the other functionality, you upgrade. And it was interesting here, Christina said 30 to 40% of her people buy the subscription plan, 30 to 40% of our people upgrade. And I wonder if that's just a common SaaS metric. I know 2 data points is anecdotal, but that was interesting to hear. And then on the third side, on the right-hand side here, we have the premium plan. When we look at engagement, we use ProfitWell to look at our engagement metrics. The people on our premium plans are engaged like on almost a 2.5 to 3 to 1 ratio compared to our pro plan guys.
Great. Okay. And is there any defining characteristics that you see among that group? Any kind of sector or use case that stands out amongst those?
Yeah, you got me there. I got to go back and look at that one. So I'll take a look at the premium plan holders. Good one.
Yeah, that's a key piece of information because usually they will be your strongest ICP. And if they represent one kind of use case, it would be really interesting info for you because it would almost be an indicator that maybe you should consider focusing all in on that profile. But that's a good thing to consider. But yeah, let's jump into the dashboard. Now that we know how your kind of pricing model works, how many of your 500 users would you say are on one of these paid plans? What kind of percentage?
All of them. We have no, so we tested free. There are no free plans. We tested that in November of 2020, and it was awful.
Okay, so
It was just a nightmare. What we saw is we saw a whole bunch of take the free plan, and then we saw nobody upgrade.
wow.
So and even when we ran some of our segmentation analysis, because we have a thank you page survey, we realized that these were just a completely different crowd than the guys that had been responding to our Google ads.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, that's really, really great. So all your subscribers are paying. There's probably about 4 to 5 different customer profiles that you have, right?
Yeah, and believe me, the minute we can find one that works, I'm going to ditch the rest and go double down on that one. But we just haven't.
Yeah. Have you ever built landing pages targeting very specifically each of those profiles and then run ads directly to those profiles for those landing pages?
Well, you know what? Maybe I should go back to sharing again, and I'll show you what's happening here. Let's see if this is going to work for me. Oh, I'm logged. I think I'm logged in too here. Hold on.
Okay, we don't have a lot of time, so
okay, forget it then. Yeah, what I do is I run the keywords. And so the problem is, because I don't know those profiles necessarily, or I have an idea of them, is I run on keywords. So our main keyword, for instance, is title search. And so I run a title search oriented landing page. And then the next one is deed search. So I run a deed search oriented landing page. Parcel number landing page. Okay. So if it's going to be an insurance person, I wouldn't know how to write the ad that draws that traffic. Yeah,
you need to speak with one of those insurance people and like really pick apart their thinking and understand it, and then create a page that hits all of those points. You know, what are they thinking when they do these searches, and what are they looking for? So if you have any customers, subscribers that you could get on a call and have a chat, those interviews could be really valuable for you if you haven't done them, and you've got, sounds like you have quite a few.
Yeah, we talk with them probably, every other week, our insurance crew. We're pretty frequent talkers. The question I have, Peter, though, is if I'm running Google ads, how am I targeting that ad only towards insurance people? Do I just use audiences and just run it within the audience?
I would have thought that's really easy. I'm not an expert on ads because we focus on right. Product design. But I think that's a really easy group to target. But maybe the traffic sources are expensive. But I think it would be easy. I do know a really good several really good ad specialists in SaaS too. So if that's ever something you need, let me know. I can make an intro for you. Sure. But let's take a look at the platform now. So I'm going to assess this on some kind of typical things that we use for SaaS. So one of the things that I noticed is that although you have a welcome here to your new user, but the welcome experience isn't very strong. So what we're seeing here, I ran one search. So we're seeing a search populated in my recent property searches, but when I first landed on this page, this was empty. So there's this common thing that we experience a lot when we trial a new product, and that's the empty state, the empty screens. And we're always thinking, okay, what can we do? I mean, this is quite an underwhelming experience. What can we do to lift this and get people engaged and get them to understand and see the value in the product? So we use these empty spaces to design encouraging and informative pieces of content. So what we have here is just a headline, and then it says you haven't had any searches yet, and then favorites, and then okay, you haven't had any favorite, you haven't favorited any properties yet, and then down here you have something that's more akin to a navigation. It gives you an idea of what you can do in the product. I would move that straight to the top, and then you have recent searches and favorites. I wouldn't expect those to be your strong, well, definitely not for your brand new user. They're not strong features. So they don't, I wouldn't recommend having them as like the top things taking up the most important space on your page for your first time user landing in here. What we'd like to do is give them a better welcome and then highlight what's great about the product and what results they can expect right here in their first experience. So whether that's a welcome video or whether that's a nicely designed hero section on your dashboard that hits all the key benefits and value points of your software.
So can I say that back to you? I think you're saying
Yes.
design basically a separate entry page that is going to be different than what the regular ongoing usage would be.
Not a different page. It could be right here in the dashboard, but it would be something that welcomes them in. And maybe, you know, often we do this as a dynamic element, so they can interact with it and then close it, and then it will be removed so that in their future sessions they don't have this kind of welcome thing. Quite often you can put it as an overlay or something like that, but it's quite nice when it's right here embedded in the screen.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it also leads them into their product journey. So, you know, if they land here and they right away want to get started with searches, you know, if that's the key thing,
yeah,
I'd give them all of the UI to start doing that. So they won't have any recent searches, they won't have any favorites. But what we'd want to do is give them the UI to get started immediately. I'd make search, maybe the search field here and some filtering options to be the key piece of UI at the top of this page.
What's interesting, go up 2 inches and see that search by?
Yes.
Yeah, it was kind of hidden now that you are pointing this out.
I mean, that is probably your fundamental feature here. I've looked at your yeah, I mean, so this should be front, you know, when you let me just think of you know, when you say land on a airline website and you want to book a flight, you're immediately interacting with your destination, and then you're putting a few parameters, the dates, how many people, how many tickets or seats, and then you go to your search. I would have that, something like that, almost as your primary element at the top of this page for the dashboard, because that is the main function that people are going to be doing. And then I'd introduce favorites and recent searches up here in your menu, I think. Oh, you've got it under my workspace. So you could expand this menu a bit because you have just 2 items with several things in the drop down, but maybe you don't, maybe favorites and search history could be top level navigation items. And it just just fill out your menu and make the product look a bit more comprehensive, because it has the tendency to look quite sparse when you just have these two elements here.
Yeah, I think we're kind of going the minimalist thing, just trying to keep it simple, but you're right, we could add to that.
Yeah, it's funny that, because what inevitably happens in the future is that once you have a lot of features and things get complex, then we go to minimizing them and then grouping them, right? So you've started off with really good practice by doing that from the beginning. Now, if your feature set really expanded, you've got a lot of room to grow there on your menu system, and you've already kind of grouped things in a logical way. The other thing that stands out really well here is that you have these, you're showing the plans. And I just want to see what happens if I interact with these. So this is one thing I think you've done really well. It's to show off your plans right here immediately.
Where did they go? Huh? Looks like we didn't test very well, huh?
Pardon?
Looks like we didn't test very well if they disappeared on that.
When I came back, they disappeared, but I've refreshed the page and they're now showing again. So this is good. I would do a second design iteration on this and just talk about the upgrades. And maybe, I mean, there's no mention of the pricing here. They can see the plans here, but maybe we can just have one button for upgrade, and then when we get them onto the page, show them all the plans, so that we're not showing 3 different plans here.
And you're right, we offer a short-term discount on those plans, the Pro and Premium. So let $30 off there, which we're not really highlighting.
Great. Okay. So
we can do that.
Yeah, that's a really strong message. You could say upgrade now, 30% discount available for 14 days or however long you have that in the period.
Right.
That's a really strong CTA to get them to click on that and at least look at your plans and consider the upgrade journey. Yeah. Okay, so this is quite nice in that it immediately shows what they can do with the platform. I quite like this element. That's why I was thinking that the fact that it's been pushed down lower in the pages.
Because what happens is as you start searching more addresses, you'll have your recent history up there, which we think for the experienced user is better, right? So they go back to their properties. But you're right, for the first time user, this stuff should probably kick to the top there. So I'm thinking that we have a different experience for someone with 0 searches.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Often we have this dynamic experience, right? So what's great for the new user isn't for the regular user. So by that point, we can start filling out their dashboard with favorites and recent property searches. So yeah, I like that. You almost want, and when we're working on SaaS, we usually design 2 different dashboards for new and existing users, and there's sometimes some iterations of people in between, right? So that's how you want to think about that. Everyone gets a contextualized experience that's best for them. So what I'd love to do is just look at your search process. So can you help me do a search here now?
Yeah, I'll give you an address. Let's give you 1001. Okay, so yeah, what you did there was interesting, but it's all right.
I clicked on the
search, click it back. Yeah, this is an autofill here, so just click. It's like any real estate site here. 1001 North space N space, let's try that, space Ainsworth, AIN SWORT. Yeah, click that
one. Okay. Yeah. So, Caleb, when people are searching here, they're always searching for a specific property. They already know what they're looking for.
Well, you're raising for this site, this business. Yes, that's the way it is. And that could be a fundamental issue with this business. We do have a number of people call, say, what if I want to do a bulk search or an area search? We're really a one-to-one type search because the way we procure our data and everything. But that's a use case that we acknowledge does exist, that people may want to search for multiple properties. Right.
Okay. Now we're in the property screen. Okay. So it seems like this has a good layout. There's you've got a left-hand side menu. You have tabs here of information. I can see that you gather a lot of data and information on these properties. A lot of it looks like you scrape quite a bit from Google, and then you've got a lot of other data relating to these properties too. So I assume you kind of aggregate data from different sources.
You got it. So we purchased from about 4 or 5 different sources, and it's an aggregation play.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so the layout's nice. Stylistically, it looks a little, well, would I say dated? I mean, the grays and the styling, but I don't think that's particularly an issue. Quite a lot of times styling doesn't really affect revenue too much, depending on which space you're in, right? But definitely the UI could be modernized and some, some of the colors improved, like this darkish gray. But I like.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. What would you just lighten it up? Because that's what I think I'm seeing now.
Yeah, usually I think we would go with a lighter view. It's quite modern to have things looking very clean and lighter, and unless you have a kind of dark mode view, we tend to use less of the inverted typeface color scheme. So whites on mid to dark grays or darker colors.
I'm glad you said that. I'd forgotten that. That's a great design point, is the white on something else is generally not great. So we'll look at that.
Yeah, there's some things that it helps to do, which is differentiate the sections, but we do that in other ways anyhow. So it's nice that you have this menu on the left hand side. Could you explain the lock icon for me? Is that anything to do with the premium plan, or is
Yeah,
that...
you're in a trial account, so there may be a different behavior here. Those locks would be unlocked if you were a pro, and they are unlocked for you because of the trial account we set up for you. But typically that would be paywalled on the 3-day pass, and then you would pay for a Pro 250 or premium and unlock that.
And do you have any paywall designs to let the user know, make them aware of the restriction?
Yeah, so if basically it will say, sorry, you don't have access to this area, upgrade now. It gives you that same kind of upgrade pricing page that you saw earlier when we looked at the number of downloads left. But on top of that is a message that says, you don't have access to this area. If you did, you'd be able to see these things. And we give kind of an overview of what the information is in those areas.
Great. Okay. That's really nice. I mean, as long as that's clear that these, locked data points have a clear flow, the user is aware of the restriction and has a clear flow for the upgrade, and it's explained clearly. So, yeah, the way data is presented here looks nice. I wonder if there's opportunities for some more visual data, graphics, charting. But you're aggregating lots of data. It looks like there's a lot of value here for the people that need it.
Good point on the charts. I've just been reluctant to create anything until we hear that real use case emerge from that real segment, and then at that point, I want to go crazy on charts and visuals and everything else. Maybe it's a chicken and egg thing where I'm just waiting to hear something, but that's an area I want to do more.
Yeah, I see. I think that's one of the challenges here. It's you want to know how to add features and build value in this platform, right? Every time you release new features, you're building value for your ICP. Now, until you get a clear steer on who that is, it's hard to know which features, right? So you almost want to kind of hone in to get an idea of what they want more. And I think that will enable you to build a lot more value into this already. Some platforms seem to have just very specific use cases, and it's difficult to elaborate more on that. And people might perceive them as having a ceiling, for the revenue they can generate. But I just wondered if you can focus on insurance or the legal users, one of these use cases, then you could get an area of the total addressable market and how you might be able to build more features, more value, and more revenue for the platform. So I think I'd make that a kind of case of priority. It has been for the last year or two. Right. Who's our ICP, right? And so it's just challenge. Is it just for you, Caleb? Is it just the challenge of getting to the bottom of that takes time? Is it? Yeah, it's a customer discovery. And when maybe I'm doing the interviews incorrectly, but when I interview customers in any ICP we've approached, they'd be like, maybe. And it's kind of a meh response. And we need to, I'm looking for something that has a stronger signal than that. It's like you're kind of fishing, you're putting these little interviews out, you're feeling for something and seeing what you can get back, just looking for a strong signal. 100% fishing, 100%. Yeah. Where I've gotten to, or I guess as in my journey on this, is say, well, you know what? Maybe it's not going to uncover itself. And what I got to do is just look at what are the search terms, keep watching the session recordings, just look for the signals that we're getting from how people are currently using the site and what our current customers say, and just build to that for now. And at some point, an ICP will emerge. Do you have any behavioral analytics set up? Are you observing that? Yeah, that's a great question. If you short answer is outside of this app, yes. So all the analytics coming in, yes. Inside the app, we're pretty much blind. And I don't know if we should be instrumenting for like a mix panel, like heap.io, amplitude, or just configuring like Google Tag Manager to be able to start firing on what we think are key
points of the customer value journey.
Yeah.
That's something I was, hoping that you might point to, say, look, what, a way to instrument this would be to do something here so we could design for that journey.
Yeah, I would be tempted, if this was myself, I would be running this platform. I would be tempted to pick your most active accounts on your highest plan, and maybe just run Hotjar to see some session recordings, and just do it in this kind of manual approach at first. Just observe your most active accounts and just several, and maybe just watch some sessions, see what they're doing and see how frequently they're doing it. That would at least give you ideas of how to optimize those journeys for your most active and highest paying.
You make a great point. Yeah, we use Clarity just because it's free,
Right.
but it's the same deal. We can match that up, and what we haven't been doing though is parsing it to say these sessions are more important than those sessions. So we could do better to identify, those end users and say, let's watch just them.
Yeah, interesting.
Good point.
Yeah. Okay, well, this looks great, Caleb. It's been nice to take a look at it. Feel free to catch up with me if you wanted to talk more or spend a little bit more time. I'm more than happy to jump on another call. But for now, it's been really nice to see Property Scout and to meet you too. Thanks for sharing the platform with us.
And thank you for spending your time on this. So yeah, definitely do follow up. Be good to continue this, Peter.
Sure thing. Okay, I will do. Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Caleb. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so that was Property Scout, and a really great platform there for property data and information. The next platform we're looking at is inFeedo. So who do we have from inFeedo on the call with us today? Do we have
Hey, Richard, yeah.
Hey, Richard.
Yeah.
How are you?
Others couldn't make it, but it's okay.
Good. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Richard. So we're going to take a look at inFeedo. Let's jump in and just have a look at your website first of all. We'll get a sense for what you do. Do you want to just talk us through the product, the target users, and what value you bring for them?
Sure. So this is basically an enterprise level product. What we are trying to do is help different organizations understand the emotions of their employees, rather than sending them a natural, usually they tend to send a survey. So instead of that, we would actually have a bot which talks to them or chats with them and tries to understand their data points, and then sends it to the HR to better, summarize what are their pain points so that the HR can take an action immediately.
Okay, this sounds really good. So employee retention and satisfaction are maybe your key kind of
Correct.
your key value metrics that you offer for your customers. And so you're selling into enterprise kind of level SaaS sales. So
right,
I noticed there's not a pricing page directly on the website in the main menu. Is that correct?
We avoided pricing because since it's an enterprise product, the pricing is extremely different for different regions. So we didn't want that to be a bias.
Yes. So you do. Okay. And so then you're going through a consultative sale for,
yes.
Yeah, for annual contracts. Okay. So, so Richard, how can we take a look at the product? Is there a way that we can jump in and have a look and do a teardown?
Yeah. Is it possible for me to share my screen and walk you through it? I wasn't able to generate a link as such.
Yeah, feel free to share your screen and then you can jump us into an account. So perhaps we can do it this way. I'll talk you through what I would be looking at as a first-time user.
Sure.
How I assess the screen that we're landing on. And maybe you can help by navigating us and responding to maybe queries about some of the interactions. So are we looking at here the first thing that we see when we log in?
Correct. So any user that logs in has to go through this first screen, which is basically a highlight summary of everything that's happened in the org in the preceding weeks and stuff.
Right. Great. And how about the new user? What does the first time user see when they land here?
So typically they see the onboarding screens. So they have to do certain manual processes, such as setting up the IP addresses, uploading the employees and certain other data. In case that person does not have access to it, they will see the empty state directly.
Okay. Okay, then. So you have different types of users then. Someone might be an admin and
Correct.
someone might just be, not have access to the onboarding, but they might be a different type of user, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you have a date filter is the first thing I see at the top. You can add filters. It looks like you can add filters to this dashboard. You have yesterday's chats, you have org summary. And basically what you're seeing is, engagement. Can we see yesterday's chats first of all? Because that's your first thing you're seeing. So total interactions 47, 22 people from watchers, people to meet, case identified, people to meet, cases closed. Who are the people Amber spoke with on May? Is Amber the user who's currently logged in?
No, so Amber is the name of our chatbot.
Right.
Different organizations have different mascot names and accordingly.
Okay. Can we just jump to the top of this screen again?
Yep.
Okay, so it's a little confusing as to who Amber is. So I assume that because you go through this kind of sales process, by the time your users in the account, they've already been trained and had demos and had a lot explained to them. Is that correct?
Correct. We also send them collaterals so that the marketing team can also let know the employees within the organization that there is a product named Amber.
Right. And this chatbot interacts with employees within an organization, does it?
Correct. Yes.
And where do they access this chatbot? Would it be on something like an intranet or Slack?
Not exactly. So yeah, they have it on their emails, Slack, literally every platform an organization can use. So it could be Microsoft Teams as well. It depends on their configuration.
Okay. And what's the general, how does the bot present itself to employees? Is it there for issues, problems, or is it there for?
No, so there are different ways where the bot reaches out. Typically, it's, let's say the person has completed 1 year in the organization. So the email would actually go from the CEO himself. It is actually a masked email. So it acts as if the CEO is sending it. They click on the link, but they actually have a conversation with Amber instead of the CEO. But so right. Amber sort of acts like an assistant to the CEO.
I see. So it's any communications that's coming from the CEO goes through and they're received via Amber, and then employees will interact with that message or email. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so you get a sense of engagement. Are there any other touch points that inFeedo uses to track customer and employee engagement? Are there any other touch points?
We are planning to, but at the moment we are just restricted to the chatbot itself. But there are other, plans that we're looking at. Some of them include directly sending them a survey itself, because employees are used to it. So that's another approach that we have.
I see. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So let's so interactions here. There are 47 interactions, and these are from people that interacted with Amber in response to some kind of CEO communication, right?
Right.
People to meet, cases identified here. So these might be the most important interactions that have been highlighted because of some way Amber has interpreted this as an important enough interaction for the CEO to either meet or somebody to meet with this employee. Okay, and then once the meeting takes place and the issue is dealt with or discussed, then it can go to a case closed.
Right.
Okay, and now let's scroll down. You've got all people, default language testing. Those tabs seem a little, I'm unsure what those tabs relate to. Who are the people Amber spoke with them? Okay, all the people, what do these tabs mean here?
So
Richard,
all the people in the sense, so since we're looking at yesterday's chat, these are basically all the people Amber spoke with yesterday.
Yeah.
Default. So these default and language testing are actually for this is an internal demo account, right? So it's for that purpose. The end user actually won't see those.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can they be custom defined, these tabs?
No, they can't. This is just for demo purposes. We have these. So
Right.
during a sales calls, we often use those.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I like this dashboard. I like the way that you just get a quick snapshot of all the data. You get a list of the people. This is really best practice. The dashboard should be a real overview of all of the account activity. It should be context specific, so it's changing day by day. It you know, people would log in to see what's happening, and when they land on this dashboard, they can see what's happening. So you might have your users coming back to log into this screen just for an update, right? And that's where a dashboard can become quite powerful.
We actually hope that happens. The issue that we are also facing is that they might log in maybe once a week. We are not sure why that happens. Like we typically expect them to log in on a daily basis, but we can't figure out why there's a difference. And
I guess what would influence this is how frequently the CEO communications are going out. You know, if they just write once a week, then one kind of company-wide memo or something like that. And if the CEO or Amber is at least submitting many messages throughout the day, then there might be more activity for the HR team to jump in and have a look at here. But yeah, I'm not sure. That's always something you'll have to test and trial and see as it develops. So there was another tab at the top of this screen, organization summary. So you've got an engagement score of your whole organizations across tenure groups. So your organization. Okay, so there's 1,256 chats in the organization, and then 64 out of 100. What does that relate to?
So 64 out of 100 is basically the overall engagement score. So this is considering people across all tenures, maybe 1 to 2 years, 3 to 4 years, so on.
Yeah.
And these are more bifurcations in terms of that tenure group.
Okay. So I think I'd just make that a little more clear. I'd make more of a highlighted element out of this engagement score, because that seems like a key piece of IP within your product. And you'd want that really to stand out. So it almost looks like, oh, there's 64 chats out of 100, and maybe it's used. It could be considered that, you know, that's a usage stat. It could be easily confused. So it's really nice practice to make your IP stand out as something unique to your product and really highlight it as such.
But wouldn't these headers that are mentioned here actually like some sort of way help them realize that?
Well, I know it mentions it 3 times, but then your first stat there is the number of chats. So then you're already thinking slightly differently, because the first thing I read was 1,256 chats, and then I looked at 64 out of 100. So my mind was thinking about chats when I read the next stat, and there's nothing to tell me what 64 out of 100 is. You see, it's almost like you want the data to be highlighted where the data is showing, rather than on the screen as such. Even if it's a tooltip, but I would actually put a label on that and highlight those stats as a stronger element. It looks like you have another interesting rating system there, which is mood score.
Yes. So this goes along with the chat, just basically asking the employees how they feel.
I like the scale there where you have the sad to happy emoji. That, you know, that kind of helps more, because you get some context of, oh yeah, I see we're looking at a score against mood. These charts look like they're squashed.
Yeah, these are actually, we are using high charts.
Yeah,
It's yeah,
it's a nice
we do
plugin.
feel it could improve a lot more. We're looking into that.
It's a nice, yeah, high charts or any kind of JS chart library, AM charts, things like this are really great. But then you have really nice data here, and I wondered if you've got 5 columns here in this grid. I wondered if it would do better to have a bit more space for each of these charts and have less years showing in one row. Maybe we could.
We actually have that. So since this is an org summary, we are trying to show everything.
Yeah.
But when you go to a very specific instance, we do show like the data is just limited this way.
Awesome. Yeah, this is a really nice screen, really good data, lots of use of charts. Nice. Okay. So we've had a look at that. Now, why don't we run through this navigation on the left-hand side from top to bottom? Would you just be able to, okay, so we've got, let's just take a look before we click on anything here. So this is you've got a sub-menu. Is this the sub-menu of highlights?
No, these are all individual menus.
Right.
We do not have a sub-menu system as of now.
So when you go over to interact with the nav on the left-hand side, you get this flyout that explains what the whole menu is. Each label starts to show. Okay. So you've got highlights, tenure, pulse, MTM, drivers, save view. Yeah. Okay, why don't we run through page by page for just very quickly. We'll just have a quick look at each page and then we run through.
To give you context, tenure is one of the modules that we're offering. So these are basically employees who have spoken to, let's say when they finish a certain milestone, like they have reached 1 year or 2 years in the organization.
Okay. And then if you click on the stats at the top of this screen, you'll get the charting updated below.
Correct.
Yeah, for current. Yeah, okay. So this is, yeah, okay, nice. Let's see the next page. Pulse.
So the next page is actually the other model that we have. This is more like a survey based. Data really takes time to load.
How do you measure something like burnout prevention?
So questions are formed in such a way that, when they match certain codes or the type of answers that the employees give, it helps our people scientists actually decode in terms of what the measure is.
Okay. Yep. Nice charts. Cool. Okay, and let's work down the navigation to the next page here. MTM.
So this is the third module. This is when they have accomplished something specific, like let's say there's a project change, manager change, or appraisal.
How do you get so much data just from one chatbot?
So it all depends. So all of this is integrated to an HRMS system. HRMS system is basically something the HR maintains, like it has all the employee records, what are they doing and things like that. So that syncs up with this, and accordingly, we send the chat out in the perfect time.
Yeah. Okay. So you're integrating with an HR platform to gather more data as well.
Correct.
Okay.
As well as Slack, Microsoft Teams. So it depends on what the org is using.
Yeah. Okay. So it looks like all of these pages are basically reporting of different types, different filters, different types of data. Is that accurate?
So something that we have personally noticed is that there are 2 types of main users on this. So even though this is made for an HR, we realize a lot of analysts come on the dashboard. And this is basically because every organization has their own way of looking at the data. So for example, if we are comparing this to 100, they might internally compare it to a 0.5 scale. So they want to extract all that data and do their own analysis.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I guess that's how this might get used most of all. It's reviewing data.
Correct.
Okay. Any other key things that we should look at? Maybe we just look at drivers and then we can wrap up for now.
So
See, there's a
drivers
lot,
are
to take in. I can see there's a lot to take in with this product. So it takes time to get to learn it. And you've obviously got that enterprise sales process where you can educate and take your prospects through the process of learning how to use this platform, right?
We do feel, so even if you look at drivers, right, I do feel that this might be a little complicated for a lot of new folks. Even like, let's say, even if it is written in my work, there are a lot of different nuances within that things. So we were thinking, how could we probably simplify it that someone who might not be an HR can also use the dashboard as such?
Yeah. There's quite a bit of training maybe required to get the maximum use out of this product. So okay, so Richard, I think I've seen enough to get a good idea of the product. Now, obviously, because we're looking at your demo account, and we're not a new user and I don't have control, it's a little harder because there might be elements in here that you have already, but we're not seeing them. So I think within the product, I would embed a lot more informative content, explanations, highlights, summary pieces, maybe videos about how to use certain features. This is a platform which obviously needs quite a lot of onboarding, but I would give even each of these key screens an onboarding section and a tutorial video of their own.
Did try that. So that's something even we realized. So we did give an info panel literally on every chart, which actually tells them what the chart is about as such.
So what's the big black overlay here?
So it's supposed to like overlay it in a better way, but yeah.
Okay, so you have a tip that there's a tip that explains what this is. So I reckon a second iteration on that might have more information and maybe a video. But this product looks really good. It looks sophisticated. It's designed nicely. There's obviously lots of different charts that are being used in here, and there's a lot of insights for the HR managers. So this platform looks great. I think you guys are on a Series A. Is that correct?
Correct.
We've done a Series A round. So there's already a lot of investment gone into the product. Yeah. I think you have the data and perhaps just a little more on hand-holding and explaining and introducing features to be done a little more here. But I understand that you have the enterprise model, so you probably have more consulting and training that's more hands-on for your
We are trying to make it self-serve, so that's something that's been our objective, because even consulting so many organizations becomes a very burdensome task to do.
I see. Yeah. Okay, well, Richard, is there anything else you wanted to ask me specifically about this product, about inFeedo?
So I'll ask you a few queries that we have dealt with as such. So even if you look at the dashboard, it's all blue, right? It's very monotone. So often our customers say it's an extremely boring dashboard to look at.
Yeah.
So how can we probably design it in a way that is exciting as such, or give some sense of calmness to the end user?
Well, there are several things you could start thinking about introducing here. One is illustrations, simple illustrations that introduce a little more color. So when I explained to you about having some more descriptions of features or screens and what they do, I don't see any on any of these pages. I just see the titles, the tabs, and it's straight into the data. So there's room to give a little bit more descriptive text, and that's a place where you could also use illustrative graphics, gives a bit more color. The other thing you can do is develop a hierarchy of button elements, action or task orientated buttons. So you have a couple of types of buttons that I'm seeing here. One operates almost as like toggles or tabs, and it might make sense to keep those blue, but then where you have action buttons, you'll want to introduce a stronger color that contrasts with your blue color scheme. So orange is a great color to use with blue because it's a contrasting color to blue. So because of that, they work well together, but it also stands out. And you've got this kind of pink, reddish pink color that you're using as a kind of highlight for new, or to show the number of elements in a certain area. So there might be more places that you can make use of that pink.
Got it.
And then if you had something like a secondary color in your UI, like an orange, that would work. And then with graphics on top of that, then it's really starting to lift the page visually and break up the blue areas in the page. So I think that would be one way to do it.
Got it.
Yeah, another way is sometimes, you know, when one of your users lands on a new page, a new section, a welcome screen, an overlay, or welcome into that section to introduce it, that's an opportunity for really nice design aesthetic. Again, so illustrations, nice text, video, and buttons to interact with. So that there are a few ways you can do that.
That reminds me, so we did have a few customer complaints as such that your navigation is very complicated. But when we look at it, it's just one navigation bar as such. What do you feel could potentially be a reason for it?
Yeah, so if you just, okay, so first of all, when you look at the navigation without the labels, it's very hard to understand what those things do, right? So highlights, it's like I think that these are maybe slightly artistic uses of icons, which I don't have a problem with. I think that's quite nice. But usually a dashboard, the highlights might be a dashboard summary, and you'll have a dashboard icon, so it's a little clearer. So there's that. And then I think you have the challenge of educating a little bit with your users so that they understand what tenure refers to, or pulse refers to. But when you have MTM, something like MTM, that's not clear what that is. So I don't know if that's a really long word.
Yeah, it's moments that matter. It's very long. So
okay, so moments that matter, they would fit in that navigation. Then you could have MTM in brackets afterwards. So moments that matter, I think that could fit. It is a nice menu, but I would probably improve it by, rather than showing the whole menu every time someone hovers on one element, maybe there could be a nicer design just for each specific tab or icon. So you hover over highlights and you have a larger area that just comes out to talk about highlights. It says highlights. Underneath it has more of a description of what it is. And you could do that with each label so that you don't see the whole menu every time, you just see the specific thing you're hovering on. That's less overwhelming. Lets the user focus on one thing at a time as well.
I think that's a brilliant idea. I'll probably talk about that.
Yeah, because then you see MTM, you could keep the MTM label, and then underneath you could say moments that matter as a feature that helps users get a view or a snapshot of key elements in the interactions in the employee's day during their week, or whatever that feature is. You see, you could have a one-liner or two-liners for that.
Got it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and any other questions that are on your top of mind for you?
No, these were the main ones. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Richard, it's been awesome. I really like inFeedo. Looks like a great platform. Looks like you guys are growing a lot, and Series A.
Yes.
It'd be interesting to see how you progress. So thanks for sharing it with us, and thanks for taking us through.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, then I'll see you.
Bye.
Okay, so that's it for UI Teardowns today. If you'd like to join us on UI Teardowns, feel free to reach out to us. You can always join us. We do this once a week, usually on a Thursday. So we'll jump into your product, we'll screen share, we go live in the Facebook group, and we give you advice and run a teardown on your SaaS. So today we had a look at Ueni, Property Scout, and inFeedo, 3 really great products and platforms there. And if you would like any help or you have any issues on your product and you don't want to join in a live session, feel free to book a 15-minute call with us. We'll take a look at any UI or UX issue you have. Things we focus on predominantly are, how to reduce churn, improving onboarding flows, how to increase utilization, how to improve your conversion between free trials and upgrades, and generally how to improve your customers' product experience. So feel free to go to useractive.io /15min-strategy, but you can get there straight from the homepage, useractive.io, and feel free to book a call with me there. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week on UI Teardowns Live.